Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? My name is Denanu and I'm the man with black privilege. And with this video here, we're going to be talking about Loki and Wandavision here. And with Loki here first, this is going to be short because there isn't really a whole lot that they're saying about it. It's just going to be something that they just announced, and supposedly this picks up with Loki after the events of Endgame, when he kind of disappeared with the Cosmic Cube. And I guess they can do a whole lot with this. Loki has always been one of those fan favorite characters, you know, ever since they started the MCU. In the comic books, he was always there, but he was nowhere near as popular as his MCU counterpart, or ever since they put him in the Avengers movies and stuff like that. Before that, he was always, you know, Thor's bad guy. He was always causing some mischief. Something would always happen, and he would be the one that would, let's say, like, oh, let me swap these two people's minds into, you know, and just fuck with them. That was the kind of, you know, character he was. But in the MCU, they kind of made him into a, I'm not gonna say anti-hero because he's not a hero, but I will say a noble villain, you know, lawful evil, if I had to go by D&D type terms. But it's one of those things where they made him likable, you know, and they've been putting him in all of these Thor movies and the Avengers movies. And yeah, he's like that. He's that friend that you have who's like, well, there is no way I can put this that's gonna not sound perverted, so let me just come out and say it. But it's like, he's like that friend who's a dick, but like, he's your dick. You know, if that makes sense. People like him as a character in the Thor movies. They made him, they added a whole lot of the quirks with the newer movies and stuff like that, with the quips and stuff. So he kind of fed into, and he was probably one of the people who started a lot of that stuff. And he carried the role and ran with it well. Even in Thor Ragnarok, I thought people were going to get played out of his character once Ragnarok came out, but you ever see him in that, it's like, no, they doubled down with Loki. So with Endgame, with him disappearing and just going somewhere with the Cosmic Cube, they can do a whole lot with that. They can do multiple dimensions, multiple realities. They can touch on pretty much anything that they wanted. You know, anything that they want to do, they can touch on. You know, anywhere where they want to take his character, they have free reign to do that. As long as they kind of keep him the same. I'm hoping they kind of, by this being not our version of Loki, I'm hoping that they make him a bad guy again, you know, because that's kind of who he is. In Thor Ragnarok, he was kind of like redeeming himself and stuff like that, so they kind of double down with that. But this Loki is not that specific Loki, so this is the one where he's still bad. Excuse me. I'm hoping that by him being that way, that they can kind of take his character and, let's say, keep him bad, like kind of when he was in Avengers 1, where it's like, okay, he's kind of a dick, but he's still more bad than good. I'm hoping they keep his character like that and somehow have shenanigans with Loki. I mean, they've done a whole lot in the comic books since the MCU came out with his character. They've had him be a woman, they've had him be a kid, they've had him make fun of his younger or older self or time displaced self. Like, they've done a lot with his character in the comic books. And if they can somehow bring some of that humor and some of that characterization to his TV show, then hey, I'm all for it. WandaVision. This is going to be something that's going to be a little bit weird. So, with this here, they're supposedly taking Scarlet Witch and Vision, and I don't know if they're going to do the whole nuclear family thing. That's what people are saying, based on the description and stuff. They had a run-in in the comic books where it was like that recently, where Vision kind of had his family with 2 robot kids and stuff like that. And if you want to go further back to like when I was a kid in the 80s, Wanda and Vision were a thing and stuff like that. So I don't know where they're going with this. I have a feeling that in the next video we're going to be talking about Doctor Strange's movie. But Scarlet Witch is going to be in that too. And that's going to be one of those things where I don't know which is coming out first. Let me see if this article mentions it here. Nope, they're both coming out around the same time. So WandaVision is just spring of 21 or 2021, and Doctor Strange is, I think, May of 2021. So if Doctor Strange comes out first, since I know she's a part of that, I would assume that the only reason she's in that is for Doctor Strange to teach her how to use chaos magic, since that's like the other part of her character in the comic books. In the movies, they never really told you what her powers were. It's just, oh, she has telekinesis. She's basically Jean Grey. That's it. Outside of the little mind trippingness stuff that they had when she made Hulk and the Avengers flip out in Avengers 2, Age of Ultron, she's been Jean Grey. She's been the MCU's version of Jean Grey, and that's pretty much it. In the comic book, she has that, but her thing is like chaos magic and hex magic, not necessarily telekinesis. She can cause hexes that basically can alter probabilities. Once her mutation really kicked in, she can alter reality, and she kicked off the whole House of M thing. That's when she became like a reality warping threat that they was like, look, we gotta just kill her because we can't do anything with her. They can't stop her. And that was that's what kicked off, that whole thing. So with her being in Doctor Strange, I'm assuming that he's going to be teaching her how to use excuse me, damn. He's going to be teaching her how to use chaos magic, or trying to teach her how to use her powers. They're going to get caught up into some multiversal Doctor Strange, old school Jack Kirby nonsense. Maybe fight Shumagorath or something. And once she probably comes out of that, maybe she's going to be in another reality, maybe where Vision didn't die. Or maybe she's like, look, I can just use my powers, the House of M me, my perfect life. And maybe that's what her show is going to be about with Vision, because Vision is dead as fuck in the MCU right now. So they have to either have an alternate reality type thing go on, or she has to use her powers to bring back an alternate version of Vision or something like that. So if they do that, and let's say in her series focus on their relationship and them trying to be a family, but then like let's say at the end, kind of like House of M, where she like made up 2 kids to try to replace the kids that she thought she had, and everybody was like, look, your kids aren't real, and she was refusing to come to terms with that. If they'd somehow do that with her show, where it's like in the beginning it's like, oh, they're happily married, they got the white picket fence, the house, 2.5 kids, and suddenly like the whole point of the show is her realizing that no, Vision's dead, and you have to come to grips with that grief and move on and become a better person for it. Or have her just stay in alternate have her stay like an alternate reality where he's alive and she just says, forget it, I'm gonna stay here. Ignorance is bliss. I would love if they did something like that with her show, because it shows it could be less more about the super heroic type stuff, but it could be more about the mental and the psychological side of things. And I think that could be incredibly great for her character, and kind of bring her in line to the comic book counterpart of who she is and stuff like that. Because that's my one gripe out of Scarlet Witch in the movies, is she's not Scarlet Witch. She's Jean Grey. Until they put the little funky, hat thing on her, she's not Scarlet Witch, in my eyes. Like, they gotta put her in that little red thing. But I think that could be really good with her, with her series. I don't know where else they could take that. I guess you can bring in Vision and somehow make, his whole thing was like, oh, I don't understand humanity, I want to become more human. So it's kind of like Data from Star Trek. That's going to be another video when we talk about Picard, but his thing was always like Data, when it comes to that kind of sort of thing. So I don't see what else you can do more with Vision outside of him learning what it is to become human, or learning, the intricacies of humanity, so to speak. There's only so much you can do with the machine man type, or synthezoid rather, I should say. There's only so much you can do with that artificial, life type concept. But that's just my opinions on Loki and WandaVision. With WandaVision, I think it's a great name. It reminds me of like that those 80s titles that was in, on technology and electronics and stuff like that. So I think that's a great kind of sort of throwback to that, and it's unique sounding enough. It's kind of like Thor Ragnarok, or like Thor's new movie that we're gonna talk about in probably a couple videos from now. But it's like was it Thor Love and Thunder? Kind of reminds me of like an album title from the 80s or something. Like, really enjoy that title. But I think Marvel's killing it with the titles and stuff like that with these new releases, and I'm just hoping that they kill it with good shows. A lot of these are far off. Like, a lot of these are like 2021, so it's not going to premiere next year. It's going to be like year after next for most of these. So maybe by then they can think of some really great storylines, and maybe Disney Plus can come out and change the name of the game and kick Netflix to the curb. Who knows? But anyways, fellas, that's just been my thoughts on Loki and Scarlet Witch and WandaVision and all that kind of good stuff. So if you guys want to say anything down in the comments, let me know. And my name is Denani, and I'm the man with the biggest and the most blackest privilege on YouTube. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.